Hello everyone and welcome to Louise Singleton Creations. As we move into summer, we get ever closer to the end of the school term, and that means action time for crafters who like to make teacher gifts. If you are tired of making the same old things year after year, perhaps today's video will give you some inspiration to try something a little bit different. Today you'll see me casting pressed flowers and leaves in epoxy resin to create a beautiful light up apple jar fit for the very best of teachers. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned and enjoy the video. Let's start the video with a little walk down the garden because it was a beautiful sunny day when I filmed this, and I thought you might like to see exactly where I got my leaves from, which are going to be in today's project. When we moved to this house about 4 years ago, it was a completely different picture. I might actually make a video showing you the before and after because it's quite different now. We've worked so hard on this garden, and as you can see, it isn't perfect. There are plenty of weeds and things that need to be done. But yeah, we've done this all ourselves and we're very proud and happy with the way it's looking. This is the tree that I got the foliage from, which I'll be using today, and I really love it. It's called Sambucus Black Nigra, I believe, and it's black lace, and those leaves are just gorgeous. I actually pressed the leaves that I've used today a couple of years ago. They've been stuck in my flower press, but yeah, it's the same plant. And they work really well in resin. Also, I'm using forget-me-nots, but they're just about finished now. I pressed those a few weeks ago. So yeah, I'm just taking a walk down the garden. This is the vegetable end. I've got all sorts growing. My husband's in the middle of making that path. And yeah, I've got my pak choy there and my beetroot. I've got beans and leeks and peas, all kinds of things. So anyway, let's get on with the project. Right before I could begin, I needed to double check and make sure I had enough flowers and foliage to fill my mould. This is my flower press, which my dad made for me about 35 years ago. It's pretty old, and yeah, it takes a long time to get those little screws off, so I will fast forward because yeah, it takes ages. Now I have to say the contents of my flower press aren't exactly all that impressive. It's got what I need. That's all that matters, isn't it? And a few little bits that I pressed a long time ago that probably need chucking away, to be quite honest. The thing with pressing flowers is some things press really well and some things don't, especially colour-wise. Most things I've found really don't keep their true colours, and that is why I do love to press forget-me-nots. They're one of the only flowers I've found that I can get to keep the same colour. Yellows and blues work quite well, so yeah, the blue forget-me-nots are lovely, and also the black lace leaves are just gorgeous. They work really well. Once I'd finished selecting all my flowers and foliage, I could start adding them to my mould. Here's the mould I'm using today. It's the apple jar mould from Let's Resin. And that thing there is just a little humidifier I have in my room. It's just the right size to fit on the inside of this mould. I do find it's really important to get something in there to keep its shape. You don't want it to distort in any way because then the lid won't fit on. So that's why I like to put something inside the mould. And I will put that back inside after I've finished filling it. So this was really fiddly, I'm not gonna lie. And it took me some time because those little forget-me-nots kept hooking onto everything that they touched. And yeah, you need some patience for this, but it's worth it in the end. And I actually think you would need quite a lot of patience just to sit and watch me doing it as well. So let's cut that out. Let's go and mix up some resin. Here's the mould, all filled up with flowers and leaves and ready for the resin. I know there's a clip on there that will need to come off, but there was one flower with a stem that just kept falling down. It wasn't quite long enough. And the clip was there to remind me of that particular flower and also to keep it in position until I got the resin in there. The resin I've opted for this project is Let's Resin's Deep Pour Resin. It's not actually essential for this mould. I think you would get away with the regular resin for this. Yeah, but it would be just about getting away with it. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a risk, but because the walls of the jar are quite thin, it's not like you're pouring a solid block of resin. So that's why you don't have to use deep pour. You could use regular resin, but I do prefer the deep pour, if I'm honest. For something like this, to get optimal clarity, I would recommend it. Am I waffling? I am, aren't I? Okay, let me just get to the point. I'm pouring 6 fluid ounces of part A and then 3 fluid ounces of part B. The deep pour resin is a 2-to-1 mixing ratio by volume. I gave it a really good mix until parts A and B were completely combined, and then I used my bubble removal machine, also from Let's Resin, to take away any bubbles that were still in there. Now what I will say is, if you're using a bubble removal machine, it's best to avoid using silicone mixing cups like I've got here. They're not ideal. I don't know the science behind it, but you do tend to get more bubbles coming out because of the silicone. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to know why. I just know it's not a good idea. So yeah, use a plastic cup in the bubble removal machine if you can. And I'm waffling again, and I've already started pouring the resin. Look, there it goes in, nice and slowly and carefully. It's a nice, simple job. Honestly, the hardest part of today's project was probably getting the flowers into the mould. So there we go. Already you can see it's going to look really good. I was quite excited about this apple jar, and I thought it would be a really good gift for my granddaughter's teacher at the end of term. And yeah, there we go. It's looking good, isn't it? So now I just need to pour some resin into the lid part of the mould and leave it secure. So before I started this project, I did have a think about it like you do, and I thought, do I need any pigment or glitter or anything else? And at one point I was thinking of putting some little butterflies in the lid, and then I thought, no. Let's keep this simple and elegant. I sometimes think less is more, don't you? I left it to cure for 2 days and it was ready to demold. Because we've had such warm weather recently, it cured a lot faster than it would do if you did it in cold weather. So that was good. I could have actually got away with demolding it the day before, but I wanted it to be really solid because this particular mould is quite difficult to get. You know, the demolding is quite difficult. And I didn't want the jar to be bendy while I was putting it through all that pressure of demolding. So do make sure if you're using a mould like this that's gonna have to withstand some writhing about, if you're gonna do that, make sure you let your resin get really solid before demolding. Here you can see that I was just trimming down the stems that were still sticking out, and that left it quite rough on the top, so I wanted to finish it off with a layer of UV resin. The only reason I'm using UV resin is because it's super quick and because I've got it. If you don't have it, use regular resin. Don't use your deep pour that you used for the jar if you use that though. Deep pour won't cure properly if you're just, doing a couple of millimeters. It needs, it's just not going to work. So regular resin or UV resin just to top this up, and then it will be ready to come out of the mould. After applying the UV resin, I left it under the lamp for about 2 minutes, and then it was time to try and get this mould off. It was easier said than done. What I decided to do was add a little bit of water in there. If you have soapy water, that's even better, but I was being lazy. I had a bottle of water nearby and not the soap. So I just used the water. It did help though. And what you can do is stretch the mould around until the water really gets into it every little bit. And it really helps to make sure everything's released and will come off a little bit more easily. I use the word easily lightly. I tell you what, I'm going to have to speed this up. It was a bit of a pain. Right, I'll see you back in a moment. Right, I did cut a lot of that footage out. But look, we're nearly there and you can already see how pretty that is. Actually, looking at it now with the mould still in it and that white behind it, I really like that. That's an option, that you could do. You could paint the inside of the jar white if you wanted to. But I'm going to be putting a light inside this, so that wouldn't really work quite so well. Although maybe it would. I'm thinking as I speak, you could coat the inside with UV resin and just cure it for 20 or 30 seconds, not much, so that it's still tacky. And then you could put white mica powder in there so that it clings to the UV resin, and it would just give it a little bit of a background and the light would still shine through it. Pity I didn't think of that before, eh? But look, isn't that pretty? I really do like that. Forget-me-nots are so good. Look how they've kept the lovely colour. So yeah, let's have a look at the lid, see how that turned out. I was a little bit concerned because this lid has that awkward ridge thing. You know what I mean? The overhang where the silicone goes around the top. And that's just asking. It's asking for all the bubbles to congregate and form one big bubble underneath the silicone. But it's one of those things, sometimes, you've got to have that as part of the mould, haven't you? Otherwise it won't work. And I couldn't get it started, so I had to get my tweezers out. So let's just cut past that and get this out of the mould. And unlike the main part of the jar, this part flew out. But look, that's what I was talking about. They had a bubble party underneath the rim of the mould. Not to worry, we can sort it out. I took a little bit of tape and just put it on the side of the lid so that the area where the biggest bubble was kind of barriered off, and then I could fill in that little hole with some UV resin. And when that was filled in, I could cure it under the UV light, and you could see that it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely a lot better afterwards. And I did that in all 3 of the places where I had the same problem. After that, it was so much better. To avoid this happening at all, it's best to go back after a few hours and then use a micro brush or something like, what I've got on the table there. There it is, I'm holding it now. If you can use a micro brush like that, or maybe a wooden cocktail stick or something, under the rim of the mould and tease out any air bubbles before it's cured, then you won't get this problem. But I did forget to go back to it later on. I just left it and hoped for the best, and you shouldn't do that. You do need to babysit resin a little bit and keep your eye on it. After I'd finished sorting out the lid, I made a little label to go on the stem of the apple. I put a candle in there, not a real candle obviously, a battery operated one. And yeah, it's all ready for Millie to give to her teacher, and I think she might like it. Do you? Yeah, I think it's quite a posh teacher gift. I remember when I used to teach in a primary school, and at the end of term it was always so sweet when the children would bring me a gift. And yeah, it just shows you that what you've done was appreciated by not only the children but the parents as well. So I always think it's a good idea to give your teachers a little gift. Anyway, what do you think to the finished results? You can see where I've patched the lid up there, can't you? But it's a lot better. There's no big gaps in it anymore. And I love the way the light shines on the shape of the lid. You get some really great reflections of the flowers on there, don't you? It's really quite cool. And with the candle inside, it's nice as well. Yeah, and you can see the blue really nicely in those forget-me-nots. Even better in real life, actually. It's quite hard to capture on camera, but it really does look very pretty. Well, we've come to the end of another video. If you've enjoyed it, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hype and all of that good stuff if you would like to. And I will see you again next time. Thank you for watching and bye for now.